That helps too. That helps too. Good morning. Board of Water Commission meeting, March 12th, 2025. The meeting is being recorded. Look at last month's minutes. Motion to accept them. It was. What is the step two? No, you want to review it real quick? We'll get to the point of the minutes. Also, ones also missed it. Can also let's check out. All right, catch up. Good well. Take a minute, read over. Actually, I have one email. Okay, so I'm good with it. So make a motion to accept the minutes of February 12th. Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. All right. Appointments 9. Correspondence 9. Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report for February. We had an opening balance of $2,793,000. We got receipts of $170,000, disbursements of $219,000. We have a closing balance of $2,793,000. Page 2. For 8 months ending February 28th, this year, fiscal 25, revenue $3,046,044 for last year, $2,567,340. Operating expenses $1,827,086. The prior year $1,445,714. Interest income $58,943 to last year's $93,990. Net income $1,263,508 to last year's $1,187,467. Water revenue only $2,318,699 to the prior year's $2,958,287. Connection fees $658,600 to the prior year $454,200. Page 3, capital expenditures. System improvements year to date, $161,950 out of a $325,000 budget. Pigeon Hill tank and booster, $1,830,214, but for $1,700,000. Engineering future PFAS treatment plant, $648,716 over $250,000. Professional services, power line drive and foliate, $13,427 out of $50,000. Worcester Street / East SRF, $5,760 of the $23 million. And Trinity Foliate SRF, 0 out of the $33,920,000. Cash accounts, MNDT, $1,837,301. Unibank Depository, $776,962. Unipay, $37,509. Payroll, $48,171. Debit card, $6,066. Vendor, $38,337. For a total of $2,744,375. And then we have reserve for OPEB, $640,785. We have a grand total of $3,385,160.
Any questions? No, that's I was just saying. I make a motion to accept the financial report. Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. So moved. All right, SP District Council correspondence, none. SPC report.
Good morning, gentlemen, ladies. Number one, we actually did receive some stuff just yesterday, I think, from the state. They sent us what they call an order to complete, which is just a bunch of more questions that they want answered. We have 90 days to answer those. So I have our hydrologist and our engineering firm looking at those questions to see how we're going to respond. Number two is we got through the planning board and the conservation commission. Both of them closed the hearings, came up with their decisions and findings. We're just waiting for them to actually send us the actual documents, which will be recorded. Nothing drastic out of either of them that or any weird conditions. Let's see, the pilot study, we did receive last Friday approval from DEP for the Trinity Ave. They're going to get in touch with Blue Leaf. The engineering firm's going to get in touch with Blue Leaf to see when they're going to do it. They expect it to start sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And that process will probably take 4 to 6 weeks. And then we'll write up a report and have our findings on how we're going to treat Trinity. So that would probably be find out sometime during the summer, I would guess, on that. The Doris Drive retaining wall, we haven't done anything on that yet. But we're looking at probably including that in the Worcester Street PFAS plant project, just because we have to dig across the culverts anyways on Doris Drive to put the force main in for the sewer, for the backwash, and the bathroom facilities at the plant. And we'll be doing work right there anyway. So we're looking at just adding that into the project to make it more economical on our end, instead of having 2 contractors working in the same spot, 2 engineering firms, 2 oversights from Fisheries and Wildlife, et cetera, et cetera. So if we could do it under one project, it might save us a little money. Any questions? Nope. Okay. Number 5. Originally we were looking at doing SRF funding for both the Worcester Street and the East Street project. Due to a multiple of reasons, we're looking at splitting those projects, just because even though the bids came in a Westford project right on the engineer's estimate, they're still a little cautious about the economy and what's going to happen with the tariffs. So they're looking at talking with SRF. Well, right now we just sent a letter to SRF to ask if we could increase the amount a little to cover both projects. If that's not approved, then we'll go ahead with the money that's already approved and get Worcester Street underway, and then see what we're going to do with East Street as time goes on. Right now, Worcester Street's still on track for bidding and starting construction late fall of 2025. East Street will be bid shortly after Worcester Street, probably within a month or so. So both of those are still on path to get bid this summer, late summer. So the only thing I have left on my list is with the 2 projects, everything from signing agreements with the engineering firms on construction administration, design, engineering, then all the documents we're going to get from SRF, plus, as the building project goes on, change orders, contracts, everything. Typically, the commissioners would sign all of that stuff. I used to sign it as manager. Once the commissioners gave me authorization to do that for a particular project. My recommendation is to have Adam sign those documents as they come in, and then bring them before the board just to make sure that the board, looks at them and knows what he's signing. So it'll prevent us from running around chasing you guys all the time to get documents. There's a lot of those things we can't wait, 30 days for a vote from the commissioners. So just looking for your discussion on that or votes, so we can give him authorization to sign the agreements as business manager. So
Yeah,
I have no problem with it.
yeah.
Like we told him yesterday, when the project goes south, he can pay the bill. So
I'll halt that for sure for my expenses. Matt, I've got a couple of questions. I know you've been talking about, budgets and things like that. And with the uncertainty of the economy, with the, tariffs, I mean, nobody knows where this is going to go. But it's not going to be good for a while. Are we building anything in to kind of protect ourselves in the case of, massive, increases in prices or anything like that? Are they giving us some sort of a ceiling that they're gonna work with? And number two, I don't remember, did we build any kind of contingency into the, budgets for these projects?
Answer to number one is the state law requires us to put in thresholds. I guess I'll use the word thresholds for contractors for like fuel prices that escalate, steel prices that escalate, concrete. So even if a contractor bids a job at X and 6 months later the market on concrete doubles, he has the right to come back and justify a change in his contract pricing. It typically was done with fuel because fuel was so, up and down. Now that they're doing it with other quantities like steel and concrete. So we're kind of at the mercy of the economy. So we can't crystal ball that. The other thing, when we got the 23 million application approved from SRF, and thank God we got that in early, because right now I don't think anybody's going to get any money because now everybody wants it. We stabbed at 23 million for the two plants, and of course that was over a year and a half ago. Now they're looking at probably close to 30, maybe 28 conservatively for those two plants. And that also depended upon what kind of treatment we required. So one of the treatments we thought we needed at East Street, we already are saying we don't. So that's going to save us some money. And also because of that, we're going to shorten the building by about, I think it was 20 feet. So that's going to save us some money. So we're looking at all the costs on our end, what we can do to chisel away without, being stupid about it. Because of the Westford bid, I'm pretty confident we're going to get some decent bids when we go out there. But it is what it is, unfortunately.
Okay, but I guess my question is, did we have a line item for contingencies? I don't know.
In every estimate the engineers does, they usually do 10%.
Okay.
So we will have an article on the warrant to increase that 23 million by another 10 million, but that's really conservative number. And the only reason we want to get that approved is if SRF funding is available for any of it. We don't want to have to go back through the process of having a special meeting and delaying it. We want to be able to tell them, hey, we already got this money approved. We can, we can take that money now. So we may never use it, but unfortunately, it's a crazy economy right now. So,
well, thank you for the answers. In terms of Adam, or as you're recommending,
yeah.
Slight strategizer. Morning. In terms of having Adam sign things, I don't have a problem with it, provided that whatever he's signing has been reviewed and vetted. I mean, I understand, scrambling around short time to get a signature, but I just want to make sure we've got procedures in place so that whatever Adam is signing, it's not going to drive him into bankruptcy. So he's going to hold the whole,
Now, anything he signs, whether it's, if he has time, he'll just bring it before the board and just say, listen, I'm signing this agreement. If he has to sign something like a change order, he needs to bring that to the next meeting and have it ratified by the board. So, he's not off on a tangent, just signing everything and we don't know about it. So, which I don't think is going to be the case, but that's a good procedure to do. And
it came down to errors immediate. I'd scan it in, send it as all an email, and wait for your responses and ask, put something emergency on the email. And if the worst, better hear from you guys say I need, in 24 hours, I'll give you a call. Yeah, so please check your email. Yeah, no, like I said, I've got no problem with that. I just want to make sure it's transparent, and there are always some protections in place so that things don't go awry. So I'm good with it. Does this need a vote?
Yeah, I would vote it just so it, the officially, if SRF asks if the commission has authorized him to sign, then that's in writing. So,
what are your feelings on having dual signatures on them?
I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it's never been done in the past. You know, the bigger items he's going to bring before the board anyways. It's just, you know, if the contractor has a change order for, you know, $6,000, we don't need to hold it up for 2 or 3 weeks, stuff like that. So,
Well, no, I'm not talking
I mean,
about,
you could put Dave on it too. I mean, that's certainly appropriate. So
that's exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You know, I think obviously Dave and Adam work well together. I just think that, that both of them should be involved on the signatures of the documentation. And if worst comes to worst, and one can't design something, that one of the board members can come always down and do that too as a secondary bet. But at least you guys are going to be in it. Everybody knows what's going on, and it's just a, you know, a checks and balance type thing. Okay.
Yep.
But
yeah, I can see if that can be done. I don't see why it couldn't be. So
yeah, I mean, even if Adam is the signature, or Dave initials it, or Dave's the signature, whatever, however, you know, can be done. But I don't want anything slipping through the cracks.
Yep.
All right. So I guess I'll make a motion to have 2 signatories on all things related to the PFAS treatment plants. Both Adam and Dave are co-signatories. If one is not available, one of the board commissioners can step in and sign. I second that. So was that appropriate language? I think it is. Yeah, I just write it. That's gonna write it. It's on being recorded. You can get it later. Paraphrase. As Bob stated, all in favor? Aye. Barry. All right.
that's all I got.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
We'll give Dave a minute to catch up. We got the superintendent.
All right, Worcester Street update, just wanted to put on there, I think we mentioned it last month, but we are using Worcester Street because the gallons per minute is dropping at East Street. It needs to be taken offline and cleaned. Probably going to happen the end of the month after the railroad gets done there. They go do some work with that crossing, and we won't be able to get the end of this process. So don't want to be in the middle of that, and then he can't come put the pump back in and everything. So,
Yeah.
The PFAS levels are low at Worcester Street. I think January was like 3 point something, and February was 9 point something. So it's well low. We are pumping it at a lesser capacity right now. We're at a 50-ish, but once East Street goes down, that will increase back up again. We have got Trinity Ave pretty much ready to run for 2 reasons. One, in case we need that as a backup, and they're going to need to run it obviously for the pilot study. So there was some chemical leaks in the KOH and stuff that, because it didn't sit for so long, that they had to get up and running, make sure all the pumps work and all. East Street update, as I was saying, we're going to get bulk company has to pull that and surgeon well to clean the screen from the iron manganese. They take the bowls out, inspect them, clean them, make sure that that's good to go. Like I said, as of right now, we're working at the end of March to get that done, and we're trying to. They made it quite clear that we need a quick turnaround on that, instead of pulling it out and then waiting 3 weeks and then coming back, put it back together. So we're hoping within 7 to 10, 14-ish business or days to get that. CCR, Consumer Confidence Report, is done. This is just my rough. They're gonna send it to the printers for us and all that. But it's just, you guys can take a look at it. It's on our website now, so you can check it out on our own website. The ASR, the annual statistical report, working on that. I've got it pretty much done, but our unaccounted for water is through the roof, so I'm trying to go back through and figure out why. We're scheduled to have a water audit done, but I think we're going to have that done sooner than later, because once the DEP sees that we have a large unaccounted for water, they're going to request that we investigate. So water audit, they'll come in and check, how we're billing, make sure that the computers are billing the right amount of water, make sure the pump stations the meters are all reading the right amount of, just basically go through with a fine tooth comb and try to help us figure out where this water is going. Also, going to have the leak detection guy come, instead of coming out in the fall, I'm going to have him come out mid to late April. And I'm going to have him go and check the easements, the Tufts Job Corps area. If something in some of those old pipes, something could be leaking that nobody knows about, and just trying to all options.
You can check the interconnections too.
Yeah.
Supposedly off as well.
Yeah, well, I had Will with Tim go and check all those the other day, make sure they're off. But yeah, he's gonna listen on all those too.
When was our last water audit?
I have to ask Matt that one.
When was under Matt?
What's that? Sorry.
You remember when our last water audit was? I know we had one not that long ago.
Yeah, it was probably 6 years ago, plus or minus 1 year, and it's a standard water audit that's designed by the American Water Works Association. It's very intense. They go through anything from testing the large meters, testing small meters, looking at all our billing records, looking at, stuff out in the field. There's just something weird going on because this has been going on for probably 4 years now with, 20+% unaccounted for water. And I just think it's got to be a weird something. It baffles me.
So Matt, what's the cost on doing the water audit?
I think it was around 20 grand.
All right. So my next question is going to be, is this something that we should just implement every couple, 3 years just to do just because?
Well, if we can get our unaccounted for down to 10%, I would say no, but yes, if we keep up with these kind of numbers, then yes, we got to figure this out. Yeah, I would do it every 3 to 5 years. We typically have done the leak detection just once a year, and Dave and I talked, and that's why we kind of pushed it to this spring, and just to find out if we're just missing something. And this year we're going to have one of our employees go with them to just make sure they're not missing some easement or something like that. It's been the same firm for quite a few years. Maybe even we might get a different firm in at some point to just see if somebody's just missing something. I've been here over 30 years and this just baffles me. So.
No, that's fine. I'm just trying to, do a bit more precautionary than anything else, especially where if we have an issue now, I like to follow up again with it within, a couple of years just to see where we sit with the same issue.
Yeah. And any asks by us, even the Follett, what we're asking at Follett Street, the state's going to require us to do this water audit anyways.
Yeah.
With our unaccounted for this high, and they might have other restrictions if we don't get it down. So.
We do already have the water ban in effect, so that'll be something that they'll probably want to recommend, but we've already got that in place. Yeah. Like I said, I get till the end of the month to actually have to get it in, so I'm going to keep picking away and see if I can find anything.
No, absolutely. I'm just kind of wondering, just for our own sanity and
No, I've been looking at going back and forth with Matt. I sent him a copy of it, so he went over it. So more eyes, the better. So.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right. He's on here.
You just got beat.
He just got beat.
Well, let's skip to
We can skip.
the new business stuff.
Sure. Sorry.
I'll be back. Though.
I'll be back. It's all right. You got that message and was like back to business manager.
My apologies. Real quick, solar updates. So we went over all the solar accounts that we have, and we're moving credits from the old Pigeon Hill where we canceled that account into the new Pigeon Hill booster station. So we moved the credits that we have there down. We did the same with Worcester Street, or Matt did that a long time ago. We're just confirming. We also went through the solar and tried to relocate some areas like East Street. We have a very big credit. And we want to keep that credit because we know we're going to be using more energy there and stuff. And we have other areas where we don't have any credit at all still. Melissa and I went through it all and we found out somewhere where we can just kind of take a little bit of percentage here to move to other places to kind of just slow those, energy bills down and stuff like that. So we built up some credit because we're going to be, needing it with all these upgrades. So nothing too crazy, but we're just working on stuff, things that we've been doing in here. The betterment updates we have, I've got all four of them right here. I did have Ken come in earlier, because he wasn't going to be here to sign. I've got all four here for you guys to sign. Once these are signed, they're going to end up just being submitted, and we'll see what we can get on them. We talked about those last meeting as well. But I did send them down to Matt, and Matt stamped them and everything and signed them so that they are good to go. GIS updates. One of the things Dave and I have been working on is really trying to get a unidirectional flushing program. So I have gone through probably about 50% of our GIS right now to update all of our valves, all of our hydrants in the proper locations and stuff. It was a little crazy. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but once that's finished, I've got my own little calendar where by the end of July, I want to have the flushing program done. So we're going to be good to go for next year. That's just something that's been fun. Melissa and Marla have been also going through, just checking out tie cards, the things that the guys are using, because these tablets that we haven't utilized them to the best of their abilities right now, but we're making them use them in the field. They'll have all the information in the palm of their hands. So you don't have to worry about coming back here to get information while they're on site right there. They'll have it all when it comes to what could be around, from water mains, valves, even water main breaks, to send a pin right for a water main break. So we could even something in the long run, maybe even put like a map on the website and just show local per year or something like that of water main breaks, and just communication and updates and information to the public. And then my updates, nothing too crazy. We're still waiting, I think, on dental information, just to kind of see what we can get, just to lower our rates a little bit here or there. Nothing. I don't think medical is going to change. We're looking at division as well. So nothing crazy at all. It's just kind of normal everyday stuff for the past month. But I just want to keep you guys updated that kind of what we can go into. Right? Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so we had Rustin call by misspeak, Melissa can correct me. We had just bought an irrigation heater from us of about $4,000 back in June. And it went our alleged $1,000 for the plummet in for him. And then we obviously did the water ban in October. And now he wants refund on his irrigation meter, plus what he paid for the plumber. He didn't send anything in.
No.
But I'm just bringing this up because I am sure it comes to watering time and people realize they can't water, they are going to say, well, why did I pay $1,000 when you're not letting me use it now? I just wanted to know what the board's opinion is of that. My quick thoughts, if we were going to entertain refunding anybody anything, would be to maybe like people within the last year that got this, because other than that, people got them a year or so before that. They've had a year of using irrigation. But like I said, you guys can think about what you might want to do if this comes up again, so we have something to tell people so they're not writing letters in and all that other stuff.
Yeah, the one thing I mentioned to Dave is this is just a short-term moratorium, so I know it might affect them this year, but hopefully after this.
And if they did want it off, we would go physically take the meter out, because there's no way to shut just the irrigation off. So they wouldn't be able to use it, and then we would have to go back in and then have to pay another connection and all that. So anyway, that's up to you guys.
My concern with taking the meter off is that it's inside someone's home and they can easily just do something in between. So even if it's shut off, obviously, because there's a ball valve for it, and you take the meter out, granted, we can, obviously, all the water is going to go, the way it's set up is it comes in, why is it T's this way, T's this way? You're removing this meter for irrigation. Who says they can't put something there in the meantime, and you'll never know on the meter that we actually charged. I was thinking the second one. The other thing is that the water ban is not intended to be permanent.
No, exactly.
I mean, and when I say temporary, it could be 6 months to 3 years. I mean,
Yeah.
but, at some point, hopefully it'll be lifted. And, if we remove the meter, understanding what you guys are talking about, they're going to pay to have us go back in and put another meter in.
Correct.
And, that's not cheap either.
No,
So, and I'm not about to pay for a plumber bill. Either on kind of a rebate, but I would, my recommendation would be, to hold tight because, this is a situation that hopefully is temporary. And if he wants to irrigate in the future, well, you've already spent the money. I understand that. But if you hold off and the ban goes away, then you're good to go. I would probably approach it on, trying to have a little patience with it.
yeah, well, like I said, I just wanted to bring it up because I have a feeling it won't be the first one.
Right. Because if you pay a plumber to come back and another meter to come back, in 5 years, I mean, we know what happened to plumbing rates in the past 5 years. It's not going to slow down, so, it's going to be double of what it cost this plumber to come in. So he's paying for it twice,
Yeah. Yeah, right.
where I think patience might be a little more economical at this point. And I mean, I understand his frustration. It's just, I know Dave did mention too, is like when we did approve the gentleman's, request from for irrigation and stuff like that and the meter, we never had intended on, actually, we hadn't even had a talk about having this at that time. So I know you mentioned that to him. So it's like, if we had, already had talked to you, like we might, so if someone came in now, it'd be like, I had to hold on. Yeah. Are there any, how many situations like this do you envision?
Shorter than a year,
Yeah.
there was about 3
Three?
that got put in shorter than a year from the ban.
Okay.
And this was the most recent to the ban. This was June.
Yeah.
And so that was the last one that was installed.
Yeah, I understand the timing thing. It's just,
Yeah.
like, people have been using it.
But we didn't know about it either. So.
Right. I mean, it's, it's,
The other thing I might want to recommend is that on our paperwork going forward, if we do initiate another irrigation meter program once the ban's lifted, is put some wording in there that if there is a water ban, and this is at your own risk. If you put the meter in and the day after a water ban goes into effect, it's, we're sorry, but
Right.
Then no water ban is hopefully going to be permanent with us. So it's just a matter of we can explain something.
the thing is, irrigating lawns is not a, it's not a necessity. It's a luxury,
Exactly.
and it's, you're spending your disposable income, which is your call, to have a lawn like Augusta. But it's not a, it's not a necessity. It's not a life or death thing. It's not a health issue. It's none of that stuff.
Yep.
It's purely, do I buy a Chevy or do I buy a Rolls Royce?
So we monitor those meters.
Yes.
Yeah. What Melissa did, is all sent out a bill for each one of them. So whoever did use after, like sometimes they don't shut them off right away. So everybody right now has got a zero balance on every irrigation meter that we are on.
We have a reading from 1/1 that we typically don't do.
So let me ask you this, and I can be completely off the wall on this one. Suppose we left the meter there. Suppose we give them the refund back, but leave the meter intact. But if we see that 1 gallon goes through that meter, charge him right back again.
Well, the problem is once you take the money, or once you give the money back,
No, I'm saying that we monitor those meters.
So we are getting monitored.
What I'm saying is, if 1 gallon goes through that meter, that they're watering their lawn, even though we gave them a refund back, we charge them, yeah. Or we just let them hold. I'm just trying to look at,
My only thought on that is very simple. If you had any and all mechanical, taking off the water meter is about 30 seconds. And you can still put something in there, that meter will sit zero. Or put it off the wall.
nope, that's fine too.
Okay, and you still have, and you'll never know. And that's, I think, and I honestly,
So what's prohibiting that person doing that now? Nothing.
the fact that we know that they're going to be using it. in a way, like if there's no ban, we will expect to see water on there. And the easiest way to find that out is just do you have a green lawn? So I kind of think we might find that some of our unaccounted for water could be some of that.
Yeah.
Oh, could very easily. I mean, these are inside people's homes.
Yep.
And it's nothing against the public or anything like that, but I've seen it work, and that's why in previous jobs that I've had, I've seen we still have the 1 meter, and then they have that exception meter that is attached. So all water goes to meter A, and then you can't have anything there. Then meter B, that creates a shit ton of work, obviously, for the people in the office and from the sewer department as well, to be able to create they didn't use this water, didn't go down, you guys didn't get it. So there are ways of looking.
Yeah, the thing with the sewer department, they won't do the deduct anymore, so they don't even get all of that. That's why we had to have this. That's why we had to tee it off like we did. So the other thing is some people hook up their outside faucets to these meters too. So, their hand watering isn't getting a sewer charge too. And that was the benefit of this program to them. So, I mean, I personally would just ask the guy to hold off for a bit unless he really pushes the issue, but.
Well, yeah, let me tell them that if it's not a permanent ban, and if you want to water your lawn next year after, whenever the ban's lifted, then try it.
We've had other people coming in. There's another gentleman that came in with a letter, and he was like, "Wait, I actually have to hold my hose. I can't even they're like, yeah, like you're reading a letter right down to the T." He was perfect. And I thought it was phenomenal that he came in and asked the questions on what he can and cannot do, even though it was spelled out in the letter. And stuff like that. But, that's what we're going to get. We're going to get people to come in and be like, "Oh, I have this, I want to use it." Well, unfortunately, right now you can't. Rather you have clean water to shower and drink than clean water to make a lawn.
Off that note, the gentleman that came in was saying that he has a new lawn that he needs to water, he needs to water. And Melissa found, I said, "Well, when did you put this lawn in?" 3 years ago.
I know.
So that's why the next one is, what do we consider? I consider a new lawn like something you just planted in the spring or in the fall, and you need to water it for a month to get it going, which is why you get 2 months there. But like I said, these are the questions that people are going to start asking. So,
yeah.
So I would say lawns that were put in spring or fall of the year we're talking, not last year. I mean,
I was gonna. Well, okay, so yeah, so if a lawn was put in like just because they have to, because of with banking and all that, they want to see a lawn and all that, like November, obviously it's not going to grow at anything. So in the spring, it's kind of a new lawn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to kind of, I would say something too where they have spent money on someone putting in the lawn for them. Right. I mean, granted, some people can do it themselves, but it does take, and even that, you're taking the time, you're probably getting, a lot of sod or soil to put down and stuff like that. So if they could show, what they've done in the past, say 6 months, and I know some of that would bring you into winter, but it's exactly that. Then someone might come in and say, "Well, I'm 8 months because I actually did do it in the fall and stuff." They could show something like that.
Well, that's fine, but I mean, somebody's coming in and said,
I think it's going to almost have to be almost like a discretion.
Yeah.
And you might even have to go out and physically look at it, and that's fine.
well, like I said, I'm just bringing up what we talked
I
about.
think it would be worth, so we can set it like a timing threshold about what constitutes a new lawn and how much watering it needs. Would it be worthwhile to call like a landscaper who does seeding and who does sod work to say, what would be a reasonable high use water time to establish these things and make sure, because no matter whether you seed or sod, it's expensive. And if you seed in the fall, you're going to seed in the spring again. Okay. And that stuff ain't cheap either. So, I want to be fair to what is a new lawn, because obviously the banks and all that stuff require it. But, if a sod is 90 days, okay, I'm just trying to come up with a reasonable timeline that would ensure that we're allowing enough time and water to get these things established. And this might be a good, to get the right answers or whatever, or, put it on the website too, is like, what is a new lawn?
Well, exactly. That's why we
Yeah.
we come up with something, we can get it out there.
Yeah,
for
mitigate,
people to-
all they can read them like, right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not a lawn guy. You know, if it's green, I cut it. You know, if it's tall, I cut it. You know, if it's high or not, my lawn is. Yeah, but, no, and I understand that, you know, you want to have a lawn sheet and the banks require it. Has nothing to do with the building code, by the way. No, it's the banks. And, you know, understanding that, I want to give people the opportunity to make that right. But, you know, I'm not a lawn guy. You know, and so if we ask somebody, you know, what would be a reasonable plan, time, you know,
Yeah.
a couple of years or whatever.
The next one was on the new business repairs for Main Break on Melbury Street. We got the letter in there from the gentleman he was the one that was in here at the meeting.
Yeah.
Asking about right after the main break, what happened. So
Yeah.
he had sent a letter saying, you know, now the snow's melting. He just wanted to know what our plan of action was. So I met with the landscaper Monday morning. We walked the whole between the two houses and behind the condos, and I'm waiting to get back a quote. And he said that hopefully, if the weather holds like it has been, he can maybe get to it next week.
Does he know that you've done that?
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna send him an email after the meeting.
Yeah, either an email or a quick phone
Yeah.
call to him, just say, hey, we already did this. And
Yeah, so, as soon as
it's in process.
As soon as we get him up there and like I said, we get a week of rain, obviously he's gonna do more damage and get him to turn the money.
Yeah, yeah.
But just so one of my stories, I can ask him, what's reasonable for somebody establishing a new water lines, type of thing, and get that from him, and then we'll know more.
And that's like the next thing, like someone puts down a new lawn and they're doing everything right by what we're asking them to do. And then, you know, we get that torrential rain and that new lawn kind of just starts down the street.
Yeah. Well, that was that.
Yeah. You know, that's where it's, you know, it's like, what do you want to do? Well, we're going to do it again.
Good. Yeah.
And then this letter here is what we sent out to our irrigation users, just to remind them that we do have a water ban in effect. This is also, I believe, on the website.
Just go to every user we have.
No, just
Not just the
irrigation.
irrigation. Yeah, no, it's not on the website. It just went, no, it just went, the ban is, but
Oh, okay.
So my only other concern I have is like irrigation lawns. All right, so they don't have a professional irrigation system in. But if they set up 3 to 6 lawn sprinklers all over the place, is that basically the same thing as an irrigation system?
Yes, but most likely what they're doing with that is they're doing the physical labor, same thing with holding those.
Right.
but actually our ban specifically says that they can't use sprinklers.
Yeah, it has to be handheld.
It has,
Can't-
So again, you know, the people who have the irrigation system at this ladder, but like my neighbor who likes to water at 2 PM,
It's a great time to
which is a great time to water, you know, doesn't understand that.
Then maybe we should be putting something online, on the website with the ban. to
we
explain
can,
that.
this
Yeah.
letter was
This- yeah.
specific, so this letter was specifically
Yep.
targeted to let them know that we did a reading out of normal reading time so that we have a zero.
The biggest thing is the lawn watering and the irrigation system. I mean, look, you know, somebody washing the cow much in Great Wild or whatever, that's whatever, but it's really the irrigation that really taxes our systems. So I just want to, you know, make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yep,
Yeah.
you know, we can
They don't wash their car.
reformat it to
Right,
be
but-
just
yeah.
for general.
But the amount of water you use to wash your car versus watering your lawn.
If you got a nozzle on the end, yeah, they great, but there are people that just.
I get that too. I am still not, I would like to be prepared when people come back with questions about, you know, whether you wash your car in a driveway or instead of a car wash. Might be a good idea to have some backup information from somebody like Fitzy. That talks about, you know, it's recirculated water. You know, the average car wash is 1.4 gallons versus a driveway wash is 10 gallons or whatever. You know, because people are going to say, well, you know, they go through a massive amount of water and this and that. And not really.
They jump back. That is so true. They
And
really don't.
again, that's a business that uses water and obviously, you know,
Yeah,
There's
So-
And we have
They're
been
exempt.
posed, we have been posed with some of those questions and we've already been informing residents.
Yeah.
The only thing that we do need clarification still on is in the ban, it states about May and September.
yeah.
And we needed a clarification of what that,
Where is that? Is that on this one?
it's on the left, it should be on the right.
Oh, yeah. New lawns and plantings during the months of May and September.
Yeah.
So does that mean
Well, so that means.
we let
that-
them use their irrigation system for those, during those months, or does that mean that they?
Well, usually people plant lawns. September is always the best time because of the cool nights and warm days. And May's pretty much sometimes like that too.
Or, I mean, I don't know if we can do this now that we've posted it, but reading through the DEP's, guides, their guidelines, it's like, we can change this to any way we want. If we want to just eliminate that altogether.
Well, I think the May and September thing might be a good time when we ask if somebody who does lawns and stuff to see, not that they can help us write it, but once we get that information, maybe we can tweak that.
Yeah.
That's what we can allow new lawns to maybe go that way. And granted, not talking a perfect situation because someone could have had something catastrophic happen with it.
Right.
Like a lot of main break.
I mean, we're just trying to help as much as we can. Just trying to balance. We're trying to get, obviously, a happy balance, but I mean, it's gonna happen.
Well, my thing is if we tell people that, in May and September, we're allowing people to use their irrigation system, everybody's out trying their irrigation system on use.
Yeah, right. Like bring you to lawn.
They're gonna go out and throw a few new grass seeds out and then
Call it a lawn.
call it a lawn.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going and doing our due diligence of stopping by.
Well, when, in the middle of August, when it's brown, green, brown, we all might throw up a red flag.
Now, we've also tried to delineate that, people who have private wells, they're not.
You don't want to be
They
right.
they do,
Yeah.
can't control that, so.
If you're irrigating and you got a private well, don't nothing they can do about it. I've seen us into your neighbors.
I've seen some people that have a private well for irrigation or whatever.
Yeah.
They put up a little like golf cart sign. Yeah. Because, so people driving by doesn't say, hey, wait, we like to have a sign that says, we're all supposed to do that. Yeah.
Providence Road down Greater Street crossing the South Grafton. The guy's got literally a tank right out there, like it was looking like for a pool.
Yeah.
And that's where you go. Irrigates a lot.
Looks great. Unless we do new lawns and plantings, at the discretion of the water district.
You can do that too.
But that might be a lot of people coming in here and asking, that's just weird.
Yeah, why do you want to use it?
We're gonna have to get landscapers in your call, but not quite sure people are gonna want to come in and get our opinion of like about planting.
No, like I said, I just don't know, like, we gotta look. May and September, do we allow certain people to use their irrigation system? And then that's gonna say, well, I can't use his and I
Well,
can't use
again,
mine.
it's plantings, but new lawns and plantings, it's not for, well, my lawn is in brown six, I agree, June, July,
We
August.
could put something down here,
And you may want to,
contact the Grafton Water
Yeah.
District.
and you may also want to think about what size area that you're using constitutes a new lawn. Is it a 10 by 10 area? Is it
Yeah, but they do just the front yard.
5,000 square feet? It's,
I'm gonna also say, like, if I was driving by and someone was doing a 10 by 10 area and they put a sprinkler on it.
Yeah.
And you could definitely see like they did, like, removed a tree or had a break, so they want to bust or a gas main installed.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna sit there and stop.
No.
I'm gonna try and rip.
exactly. Yeah.
But that's my big, someone to go, they used a sprinkler. You're right, they did, because they literally just had some construction down or vice versa. And, they put some seed in there, with their aid. Yeah. Actually, stuff that they do, we kind of know what's going on now. Yeah, let's change.
Yeah, they have started, they've put the first house in on Libby Lane. Put the meter in the street, so that's that would be on that road.
And they're starting to clear the water on Pleasant Street.
and then
It
start,
must be pretty noisy right now. It's right now.
they're starting to clear trees on Upton Street at the end of the week. And they're gonna get that off Upton Street for pavement. So
Yeah. Make sure if you want it then down, you tell them we want it down too.
Oh, no.
I can't see it. I can hear it a little bit, but I don't know. Yeah, yeah. All right, so we'll fill out applications, it was 0. Next meeting, April 2nd.
yeah, it's a week early, so we can close the
Yep.
warrant.
And that's and that's okay. Make a motion to adjourn. Oh,
When the annual meeting is on the 29th.
do you have any questions?
Oh, yeah.
I had a few questions about the PFAS, yellow wells. Are there other wells that have PFAS contamination besides the Worcester Street?
We have PFAS levels in our other well, but they're well below 20 parts per trillion.
Okay,
And that's why we are putting treatment plants in. Because we want to get it down to 0.
is there a treatment plan for East Street
East Street and Fraternity Ave.
and Trinity Ave and Worcester Street?
And Worcester Street. And the Trinity Ave and Worcester Street sites are also going to have iron and manganese treatment.
Oh, go back on Easter there. I think it means 29th, so Easter was.
Yes. Trinity Ave.
Thank you.
Modest then.
Yeah, I know you would say it was last year.
Trinity pulls Call of Duty with.
Yeah, Worcester Street and Trinity are going to have iron, manganese, and PFAS.
And yes, and we're gonna be combining Bullet into Trinity into one.
Yeah.
Which they can be operated separately inside that building is the goal, but then at the same time, we're blending that water because Bullet Street actually does not, or very, very low PFAS.
Yeah.
Very low PFAS numbers. So it blends together to also help that treatment, which also will make the treatment last long.
Well, first. Oh. No, that's good. I just bought it, people. We bought that for.
Oh, I know. Oh, so the plan for the filtering is at the end of this year? Is that delay from when you've got the money allocated to when the implementation is happening just because of all the engineering, or is, I'm like,
It's actually a normal time frame.
is it?
All the planning and all the stuff that comes into it is 100% normal. And every now and then you could get, if you're not fast enough, you try to get it to the planning board or conservation. Sometimes that can get delayed there, but we're already approved on everything.
Right.
Um,
From listening, it sounds like things are well underway. It just, I didn't realize, everything that had to happen.
Well, it's-
and that's the biggest concern. It is like a year and a half process just to even put a shovel into the ground.
It sounds like it's a priority for you guys.
Yeah,
Number
number
one.
one, taking up all of our funds and everything, but thanks to Matt and our engineering, they've been able to push this, keep the ball rolling, whereas, sometimes, like you said, you get to this point, oh, good, we got that, and then you delayed, and then, but they've been, one thing gets approved, it's right on to the next.
So,
Andy?
I'm putting a plug for the district too, that even when there was like hint that the PFAS requirements may drop, that's when they started applying to these applications for money and getting all these things into the queue in the review. So we are Grafton is I'm today ahead of the curve in these applications. Like government moves in the glacial pace all over. It doesn't take a lot of time.
there are people, there are water companies worse off than we are.
Yeah, you guys are in a good position.
Possibly couldn't even get it done until the SRF funding because it's all drying up because like this it's done. So back to we're in there and we've got it. It just states that state and Matt, we're already in that process where I came in.
That's good. Okay, thank you.
You need my warm subjects.
Well, whatever.
Here, mostly. We got.
So you all set? You want a motion to adjourn? Are we done?